when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so you image yourself after a gay painter. Your big homie want to look like a gay painter.
50 Cent stirred up major controversy by mocking Diddy's image, hinting at hidden truths behind the industry's silence. His jab wasn't just about looks. It was a bold shot at the power games and secrets behind the scenes. Then, as the conversation took a more personal turn, 50 Cent doubled down with a sly remark that had fans raising eyebrows. He stated, "No, I don't. I don't really know more puffy juice. No more puffy juice. Just things that's not really beef, though. That's just competitiveness." He brushed off any talk of real beef, painting it all as playful rivalry on the surface, but the tone said more than the words. He was done sipping from Diddy's world, distancing himself from the puffy juice lifestyle. It felt like a quiet exit from a culture he once played in. Some saw it as 50 drawing a line between business games and personal boundaries. Others felt he was hinting at something deeper, something people in the industry aren't ready to say out loud, and just. When the Diddy drama seemed to hit its peak, things took an even darker, stranger turn. Another name resurfaced, this time from a moment many had forgotten. Comedian Theo.
Most people remember the video. It was in 2018. He was the Trump Doral hotel shooter, and he's like a bald guy, and everyone's seen clips of him or photos of him in his like weird hospital gown with one arm out and one arm. And he like went into the Trump hotel in Doral and shot a gun in the air a bunch of times, not at anyone, and then like took over the lobby of the hotel and draped a giant American flag over it. Very like bizarre behavior. And then got into a shootout with police, got shot, ran away, surrendered, this whole thing. And it turned out that once he got, apprehended and taken in, there's this video that went on the internet that was from his like medical examination or something, but it's like a 30-minute video that a lot of people saw at the time, but everyone kind of forgot about because he was clearly insane. He was making bizarre claims like he was Diddy's sex slave and that Diddy had forced him to have sex with his girlfriend Cassie and that he had contracted an STD from them and then had sued. And then he also talks about like the black boule and the Illuminati playing cards. And he's like trying to warn Trump. Apparently the whole ordeal was him trying to get Trump's attention so that he could save Trump from the Illuminati.
The story sounds almost too wild to believe. Back in 2018, a man stormed Trump's Dal Hotel, firing shots not at people but into the air, then draped a massive American flag over the lobby. He was later apprehended after a shootout with police. In it, he claimed to be Diddy's ex-slave forced into disturbing situations involving Cassie and said he had contracted an STD as a result. He spoke frantically about the Illuminati, the Black Bow, and insisted he was only trying to warn Trump about a hidden power controlling everything. At the time, people brushed it off as the rantings of a mentally unstable man. But now, in light of the lawsuits and testimonies surfacing against Diddy, some are starting to wonder, was it really all delusion or a warning? No one took seriously as the conversation kept unfolding. Theo took things even deeper, this time turning his attention to something that often flies under the radar. He connected private jets, celebrity lifestyles, and something far more dangerous beneath the surface. The story sounds almost too unbelievable to be true. Back in 2018, a man stormed Trump's Doral Hotel, firing shots, not at people, but into the air, before draping a massive American flag across the lobby. He was eventually apprehended after a shootout with police. During the chaos, he made bizarre claims that he had once been Diddy's ex-slave, forced into disturbing situations involving Cassie, and had contracted an STD as a result. He spoke in a frenzy about the Illuminati, a secretive group he called the Black Bow.
He implies very large amounts of drugs. Like, I would assume bricks and bricks and bricks of drugs on their private jets. And that got me thinking, and I started looking up which celebrities own private jets and how far can their private jets fly. And a lot of them do own private jets. Jay-Z's private jet is like famous or noteworthy because it has a very long range, so it can fly international, intercontinental. And so that's interesting because when you do start to look into how private jets get treated at airports and stuff like that, I mean, I'm no expert. I've never been to these private jets, but there's a lot of loopholes that are available. And you could definitely imagine that being a pretty smart way to do such a thing.
Right.
Yeah. We have a lot of history of both the feds and, say organized crime that works in the music industry, trafficking drugs.
In this segment, Theos suggests that massive amounts of drugs could be moved using private jets, exploiting the weak checks and loopholes at airports. He points out that many celebrities own jets capable of international travel, naming Jay-Z's jet as an example of one with long-range capabilities. The implication, if someone wanted to move illegal cargo without detection, private aviation offers the perfect route. While Theo admits he's no expert, the idea taps into a long-standing suspicion that organized crime and parts of the music industry have long used luxury and fame as a cover for deeper operations. And just when the spotlight seemed fixed on Diddy alone, Theo Vaughn turned attention to
19 and drugs that are very quickly very addictive are involved, and very serious physical abuse is involved from that early age.
Yeah.
And the types of abuses we're talking about when you try to leave, when you try to wrong him at all, the ways that people describe Diddy's abuse, from that age onwards, that does something to your brain that I do not blame her for.
Right.
Her complete, because let's be real. Diddy's a bigger dude that could beat her senseless, that we've seen beat her senseless, right? And so if she's complicit in any of those crimes while she's, with him, that is Diddy's crime.
Right.
And we have more than enough evidence to see that's Diddy's fault and Diddy.
Theo shares how the lawsuits introduced him and many others to figures like Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group. He notes how the documents not only link Universal to Diddy's infamous parties, but go as far as alleging direct financial involvement. What's more unsettling are the claims that Grange personally attended these events and even held secret meetings in Diddy's bedroom. Whether these meetings were professional or personal remains unclear, but their frequency and location raise serious questions. The strange part, Gra and Universal were quietly removed from one of the lawsuits. As the layers kept peeling back, Theo didn't hold back from questioning the quiet disappearances happening behind.
Yeah, man, that's another level right there, man. Like, a lot of that stuff for me was like, it was a lot to intake because I try to tell people be like, well, Cassie stayed, this and that. But people got to understand, like, bro, when you dealing with a person, I don't know, because a lot of people never, been in a situation, so it's best to explain. When you dealing with a person with that type of wealth who can change your life, you basically will do anything for them. I hear everybody be saying what they saying, but let's say you got people like that around you now. We got people that did time for like that around him. I mean, that did time for him. It's documented.
Theo highlights how figures like Lucy and Grange may be shielded from lawsuits not just to protect innocence, but to avoid scrutiny altogether. Even if someone isn't guilty, their presence as a witness could bring attention that others don't want. He points out how certain names like Christina and Diddy's tech guy.
A good one. Double-edged sword. Number one, I feel like the whole Cassie situation with the Kid Cudi situation, I feel like that's understandable. Women gonna do what they do, period. Now, the thing that I want to get clear is with my Art of Dialogue interviews, you hear me? Things that I said, you hear me? Back in the G, I probably couldn't even say it because nobody would have believed me, But now that people understand that I was keeping it real, you heard me, keeping it G. When I told people when I was in Floyd Mayweather's strip club and I seen Cassie and she's like, Chop, come here. And she told me that Diddy blew up Kid Cudi car. It's ironic and funny that when it come out now, you dig, everybody like, wow.
Freddie reflects on how Diddy's wealth and influence shaped the loyalty of everyone around him. He brings up Shine, who served a decade in prison for Diddy, and admits he would have taken a life for him too, just because of what he suggests is what kept so many people quiet for so long. When someone gives you a way out of poverty or struggle, it's hard to question them, let alone expose them. He imagines what Cassie must have endured in that same environment, surrounded by people willing to Protect the secret at all costs. His words make one thing painfully clear.